and welcome to the second part of this two-part video series in putting together Miniart's BM-824 rocket launcher and the Soviet soldiers, and creating a diorama for them all to live in. So in the first video, what I did is I built up the kits, made up the groundwork and the base using various different elements: clay, plaster, some foam. And in this video, I'll be painting the truck and the remaining figures and finishing off the groundwork using a number of various elements to detail the vegetation and to try and build up a little more height, as well as adding some water to the stream below. At the end of part one, I just finished painting the first two figures, the two German prisoners from Stalingrad Miniatures. And then since then, I've also now completed the farmer from MK35. He's just going to be standing up in his cornfield in the top right corner, just watching on a scene and no doubt shouting some abuse at them as the Germans walk past up the road. The remaining 6 Soviet soldiers have now been primed, and I'm going to start painting them up first, using Vallejo's Russian uniform World War II as a base coat, but then adding some shades. For example, this is khaki grey and some khaki, and just mixing them into the base coats just to give a little bit of variety and contrast in their uniforms. So now I can start working on the vegetation. I've got a few products and items that I use, and I'll give you a quick run through them. First off, I've got AK's dried seagrass. This stuff is pretty nice. Comes in 3 or 4 little balls of grass in a box, and all you can do is just get some tweezers and simply just pull off the tufts like so, and then you can just trim them down, squash them, bulk them up a little bit. But this stuff is really nice. You could then colour it, airbrush it, or leave it, as I'm probably going to do, leave it natural. So that's nice to use. Moving on to MIGs, I've got some early autumn fine bush. This is good for making hedges and for trees. Again, it comes in about so much in a box, and again you can use it to create some bushes. Gives you a nice base to work on. I've got some dried herbs. I've got, for example, here some dried mint and some tarragon. And what I'll do with that, I'll show you later, is just to add the leaves to the bushes basically, and build them up, give them some bulk. I've never used this before. This is MIG's Nettles. Comes comes with some wire and some fine paper leaves, and you just got to build them from scratch. There's no instructions, which is quite surprising in there, so I'll have to look up see if there's a recommended way of building them up and making them. So we'll give that a bash and see how good they are. I've got some dried sea foam. This stuff I've used quite a lot in the past. It's really nice. Again, similar to MIG's fine bush, slightly different material. It's a little bit finer than this one, but again, it's great for making trees, bushes, hedgerows, that kind of thing. And I got quite a good bargain. This, for example, cost me about £8, and whereas this one I got from a company called WWS. It gave me a whole box, as you can see there, of that size. Box is full, and this was £12. So £12 over £8. Definitely, this stuff was better value. Like I say, I would highly recommend getting some of this. WW Scenics, I think they're called. I'll put a link at the bottom of the notes for where I got that from. I think it's from Amazon. Really good value. And then finally, I've got some of this. This is some moss that I picked off at the wall outside. That's just outside my house. Scraped it off the wall, and it's got some very nice, as you can probably see in the photo, some really nice little tufty grassy bits, which is quite tedious to start picking them off, cutting them off, and then adding them to the diorama. But once I think they're in a bunch, or you could even leave them, I suppose, as they are, that would add a nice little free item to instead of buying some of these products. That's quite nice. So I'll give a go with that and see how it goes. So now I can start building up some vegetation. So I'm really happy with the way this is turning out with all the vegetation. As in the first video, part 1, I mentioned this book. This is AK's Mastering Vegetation in Modelling. It's part of AK's Learning series. This is basically a really nice book. Starts off at the beginning, explaining about the tools and equipment that you could use and you might need to achieve the results. There, for example, speaks about the glues to achieve some of these effects. Gives you manufacturers details, products that you can buy, giving it techniques and ideas of how to implement them into dioramas. It also then goes on about die cut paper, photo etch, laser cut leaves, all the different types of products that you can buy, as well as natural vegetation similar to what I use down here from the moss outside. Explains how to make trees, the various different types of trees, the foliage for trees and bushes, again using both commercial, like this for example, commercial leaves, and also using household items like things like scourers, mixed herbs, the bristles off paintbrushes, that kind of thing, to make long grass. Loads of colour photos, loads of how-tos. Again, can't recommend this enough. Really nice book to look through. Highly recommended and well worth a look. So that's it, another diorama done. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build and the video. Building this one was really enjoyable. It was a nice dio to do. I really like the cross from Dio Dump. I'll definitely be looking to use that company again. They have some really nice buildings and some diorama accessories, no doubt I'll look into. The Stalingrad figures was always really nice to put together and to paint up. Definitely a favourite manufacturer. The truck was a nice build, so we're really happy with the way it's turned out. It gave me a few headaches at times, but that's probably down to me more than the kit itself. So overall, really pleased with this one. So please put a like, leave some feedback and some comments, subscribe as well to follow future projects. Speaking of which, as usual, about halfway through a build, I start thinking about the next subject, start doing some research and gathering some images and potential kits that I might want to use. and then the first of which arrived 2 days ago, which was perfect timing. So here's a sneak peek as to what it's going to be about, and a teaser to what I'll try and recreate. Thanks again for watching. Keep up to date on Instagram with build progress and how I'm getting on, and I'll see you again next time.